We often find ourselves perplexed by many crimes whose details are strange, terrifying, and sometimes disgusting, especially when children are involved. These innocent angels, defenseless and naive, have their lives stolen by the cruel and remorseless. Such was the case in our story. On a hot summer day, a man stood by the road watching passers-by. His eyes fell on two young girls, one 14 years old and the other under 10, selling prickly pears. Disturbing thoughts swirled in his mind, and he decided to kidnap and assault the older girl before murdering her. The man approached the girls and told the older one to come to his farm, where he claimed he had surplus prickly pears they could have for free. The girl refused, stating they needed to sell their stock first. As the girls finished their sales, the man followed them to a secluded area. Once alone, he forced the older girl onto the seat behind him on his red motorcycle, dragging her younger sister with him. At his hideout, he threatened the girls with a sharp knife, proceeding to attack the older one. When the younger girl screamed, he feared exposure and stabbed her to death. He then finished his assault on the older girl, killing her and burying both bodies beneath his bed. The murderer, Damergi, was the illegitimate son of a prostitute, born while she was imprisoned. After her release, she married a simple farmer, making Damergi his stepson. He never knew his biological father and spent 30 years in ignorance. He spoke French fluently, dropped out of school, and, despite his short stature and unattractive appearance, was incredibly intelligent. Damergi had been engaged to his cousin, whom he loved, and he traveled to France to earn money. Upon his return, he found his fiancée married to another. Consumed with rage, he sought revenge on her son by killing him to quell his fury. His first crime involved a young boy waiting for a ride home. Damergi picked him up on his motorcycle, promising money for picking almonds at his farm. Initially, he had no intention of murdering the boy. However, seeing the boy nearly undressed in the trees sparked the idea of assault in his mind. When the boy tried to flee, Damergi strangled him to death, buried him on the farm, and thus began his series of heinous acts. His gruesome crimes against children reached over 13 victims, including his ex-fiancée's son, killed to heighten her anguish. He even tried to persuade her to divorce her husband, but her refusal only fueled his wrath. Eventually, he was captured and classified as a sexual predator. Despite his psychological issues, he was held accountable for his actions and sentenced to death by hanging. Ironically, executions usually take 4 to 5 minutes, but Damergi's lasted 13 minutes. As if divine justice ensured he suffered for every life he took before facing his ultimate judgment.